Hi everyone. So, welcome to the day 10 of the journey of developing a project. What we choose our project as one of the project of social media app. First, building the basic application, and then moving ahead with in more details. Like if you want to have more features, or if you want to make it more better, so we can have it in the second iteration. In the first iteration, what we look out, we build the wireframe first, and then based on the wireframe, we build the UI using the Figma. So if you haven't learned about these things, you can look at the past videos where you can have these elements. I have added that in the playlist itself. So now moving ahead, we want to design the front end of it. And where we are tracking all of those things, we are tracking this in the Jira tool, where we can see first thing is the UI development, second thing is front end, third thing is back end development, and the fourth thing is testing. So we are now in the second page, front end development. So our question is, what front end technology we will use? So there are multiple front end technology already available. Should we make a raw use of front end technologies like HTML, CSS, JavaScript? That's all. Or should we use some more advanced versions like React, Vue, Angular, and all sort of those things? So the question is, what are difference between them? Why we choose one over other? And what we are going to choose it? And if we choose it, what does that mean? So first thing is the vanilla thing that is known as the HTML, CSS, JavaScript in a raw form. So it gives you over command, and you need to explore more and more about each thing. You can work on that part and then develop every pages in your own control. Even every function you can write by your own. But sometimes that can be a lengthy process, and also we cannot write most efficient way that have been developed years of ago. And not everyone can write that. People are writing that. I might not be writing that capacity as well. So we will learn that. And also with the APIs or with the frameworks or library, we get that advantage of having something in the more optimized way, and it takes less time. So now let's moving ahead. We will not go with the vanilla. We will go with the library or framework so that we can have an optimized version and we have to use less to get more. We will use few libraries as well. So first thing, so there's a thing about what is difference between library and the framework. What to choose and why to choose. So first thing we understand in the JavaScript is that library and frameworks are not too far and also not too close. So you can understand in this way. Library gives you an libraries you can think as a way that you are cooking food in your home, and framework you can think a way that it is the food that is provided by the hotels. Now you can have limited options in the hotel. Let's suppose you have some of the dishes from Chinese and some of the dishes from India and some North Indian, South Indian, and all sort of those things. Now you have in house you have option to build anything, even Turkish if you want. So think in this way, that is providing the components of that thing. So that is known as a framework, which is the restaurant part, and library, which you have control. Now based on that, in the framework, the things are already been provided. Now you will build on top of that and have functionality over that. Like let's say you are choosing Chinese, so that is selecting these specific features from that framework. But in library, you choose that, let's say in Chinese, what I'm going to build this. So I need this type of requirements. So I will take this type of requirements only. So that way we get the difference between the framework and library. Now we are in the starting phase of the application and we want to easy start with. So let's start with the framework itself so that we can have at least many things on the plate itself, and we will build something on top of that. So we will choose framework. And now which framework to choose, Angular or Vue? So if you ask me, I must say I am going to start with Vue because I'm more comfortable in it. But you can choose Angular as well. There is no doubt it's a good library. It's a good framework to use. It's a more popular as well. But Vue gives more control to me, so I'm choosing a Vue. So let's understand Vue. What is Vue? So let's go to their page itself. The first thing is the looking into their documentation, and with documentation we will start working towards that. So let's say we are in the documentation page. What it says, it's a progressive JavaScript framework. So it's in the building stage. Now you can see it's an approachable, performant and versatile framework for building web user interfaces. So we are building that, right? So let's start. So get started is something. So now it has two things like Vue 2 and Vue 3. So now Vue 2 is almost deprecated. You can see Vue 2 is not supported, has ended on 31st December 2023. So we are now shifting towards Vue 3, and it has option of two things, option APIs as well as composition APIs. So we will look into composition APIs. Even you can use the fetch APIs or Axios APIs. Nothing wrong with any of those things. You can work on any about those things. So let's start what it writes. So you can see it says to start you will get these minimal codes, and you can see with that the interface will have something like this. If you click, it will increase the count. How? So you can see it is written count is count. So this is the variable that is containing, and this variable is stored here. That is a referencing which is pointing is 0, and every time there is a function called count plus plus, you can see the count plus plus function which will be called on click, that is the count will be getting added. So now every time I click, the count get added. So similarly you can see it has reactivity and decorative rendering. So these are two things we need to understand that, because you can see that most of the things were based on that. So what is declarative rendering? Declarative rendering is nothing but instead of declaring everything at start, what we do, we declare everything on the server, and based on the things required on the browser, we send that declaration to render. That part is known as declarative rendering. And what is reactivity? Reactivity means interacting with each other pages, different state changes, and efficiently updating the DOM based on that. So that is known as reactivity. So for that, you can see what the progressive framework do. For that, the progressive frameworks are built that can scale drastically and even may become used in different forms. So let's say you want to build a static application, that's good. You want to build a application that is embedded in a web component, that can build. If you want to build a SPA, that is single page application, there's a one page application and state changes of specific portions. So that is not a single page application, you can build it. You can build a full stack application, that is server-side rendering using SSR, and all sort of those things. You can look into the documentation in more detail. So what we will do, we will make single page application. So how to start with? So so for that we will choose what are different types of APIs we will use. So there is two types of API styling. One is the option and composition. So what the difference? So option, where we define the object logic, and you can use these functions. Like you can see, these are methods. You can see to use this data methods mounted, and there are composition APIs where we reference towards on that, and then we use that, right? So these two things basic difference. Like this is the thing it has used, and this is the thing it has used. We will get more detail when we go deeper into these things, when we will use these things at that time. Now to start with, let's go with the quick start. So now whenever you build something up new and you are very new to it, like I'm also new to it, so think in this way, I have to start this. So where to read from, how to start with? First we will go with the documentation. If nothing, if we are not if we are not able to get anything from the documentation, then we can look for another videos or something sort of that. First we will read the documentation. So now we read the documentation and we found that we have to build application like this. So let's build that. What how to build application? So let's first make a project. So let me open the terminal itself. And I want to move to D, where again D is there. Now I want to, so let's do E/projects, and we want to build something. So let's make mkd social connect. It is the name of our project. So we are making a folder. So what does mkd do? Mkd nothing, just build a folder in that. So now let's move inside that folder. So let me have it. So clear it. Now what we do? We have to build a project. So npm, you can see the command npm create, and we are using white just to have a better and faster rendering. So I'm using white. You can use Vue itself here. And now I can use Vue latest with the project name. So at the rate latest, now you can similarly you can see here Vue latest. And we name it, what we did, front end, because it's the front end part of the application. So now we want template and template. From the Vue. So what we will do? We will use Vue. So you can see, sorry. So for this, I need to go to my, what should I say? I need to go to my Ubuntu terminal. So how to go that? So let's write Ubuntu. And I will be there. Or if you don't want to write Ubuntu, you can even write WSL. If you haven't installed, you can install the Debian models Ubuntu. So I'm having Ubuntu, so I'm going where. So let's say I want to go to WSL, which is already installed. Now I'm in the WSL. So again, what we will do? We will do npm, or let's copy paste this. Now you can see it's building. Yes. So we want Vue. So we will select Vue. We will select JavaScript, not TypeScript. Right? Now let's check. Does it there? Yeah, it is there. So let's move to CD front end. Or let's do this way, code dot. So code is not there, so let's not do that like that, but let's say we have built the app project. So let's delve into VS Code. another project. So let me open folder. Now let's open the folder itself. Socio Connect. Now you can see in the Socio Connect there is a front end which has this structure. So let me clear you all those things. So white configuration. So it is setting the configuration using the white for a React application. Readme.md, where we write about the readme structure, what it does contain, what it should do. We will make a documentation part in the readme.md content. Package.json, it is a thing which are packages it contains and what are different dependencies it have. So let's suppose for CSS, even we don't want to write raw CSS. So let's check. I have opened something. I want to use Tailwind CSS. So let's check how to download that or install that. So you can see I have written something like how to build Vue.js project using Tailwind CSS to start with. So that is the installation part. Now let's suppose I want to install Tailwind. So I will install this. So let's copy this and open it in the terminal. So which terminal we will use? We will use Ubuntu. For a second to open the Ubuntu terminal itself. Paste this again. So it starts installing all the required dependencies for Tailwind CSS. And then we will do the next part. We will initiate the Tailwind. And then we will add this code. So by the time, let me give you other things. So you can see it has installed some node modules. So it has written something. That package.json again updated and package.log.json. So it had some node modules which are installed. Now you can see those are installed things. There's an index.html which has the base index for which our things run. And this is the git ignore which ignores the things that is ignored in the git push all those things in the git part. Now the major thing is about the src thing. It is the public thing that has svgs of white, so you can store images as well. This is just for we are running in VS Code, so it has just that folder. Now src contains the main structure of the project where we work on different things. So first thing is styles.css, which contain the root styling. So first styling is this, which is the basic styling. And let me show you how it is running. So for run, you have to use npm run dev. It is the command. So it's a missing dev. So let's see. So first, let's initiate these things after installing, and we'll get back to that as well. npm run dev, why it's missing. So it's not looking like that. So let's add the thing that has been said here. I will look into that error and let me help you with that. We will run that before finishing today's session. So are you ready to do that? Where to add? Add in the style.css. So it's in the style.css. At last we will add these things. You can even add a top, nothing matters. Okay, we actually we are not in the folder, so it is not running. So let's get back into folder and then run it. Npm run dev. So now it says white not found. So we can use npm run build. So we have to build first and then run it. Dash I. Or install. So you can see everything is installing again to make run all the dependencies before running the code. So let me do that. It may take few time. Now it is adding more of the things, right? You can see in the node modules. It is making sure that everything is there. Now let's do this. Now it's running. So what it runs, and then we will look into what are the components where it is. So it says on the localhost 5173. So again in the browser, what we will do, we will come here and write localhost 5173. So now let me tell you what is localhost and what is 5173. So 5173 is the port number of your device that is giving or generating the rendering part, acting as a server, and localhost means your own system. If it's not localhost, it has some browser, it has some URL to look out for. So let's see this. You can see it is there and the button is count, which is there. Now you can see it has a CSS part. You can see to go to there, and similarly there is a function for Vue to run more about it, right? So we have done the quick start. Now we check the folder structure, what it has. So to understand that, first let's get into the main.js. You can see what the main.js has. So main.js has the thing as create app from Vue. So this create app, basically this create app itself is an application that will run the application, which is by default a component available in the Vue. So we are importing that from Vue and then adding it here to mount the app. And where this app is written, it is written in the app.vue, which is there actually in main.js. And this app is basically in the index, right? So we mounted that application in here and we want to do everything here. Now in the app.vue, you can see the structure is written. First we write the script, for which you can write the script. We are importing hello world. What need to show here is written by here in a template folder, and style, which can do use for styling here. You can add your own styling here on top of that of using the library of CSS, or sorry, framework of CSS, that is Tailwind CSS. And you can, in the component, there is only one component that is written currently defined there. There is asset which has the images. Now you understand these things clearly, right? Understand all of these things. So today we are not going to build any of the more things. We will stopping here. understanding these things in detail. But from tomorrow, we will look into the documentation from here, understanding how to create application, what are the template syntax, how to do that, and add more details. Like you can see, these are different things it has. So what are these things? So add a TypeScript. We are not adding a TypeScript. We require a view router. Yes, we require a view router. Why require a router? So make a routing, right? Now there are pretty formatting and all sort of those things are there. ESLint for code quality. Yes, we require that. We're not testing white testing for now, so we don't require that. For all those things, we will look into those things. And then after running that, there can be option. There is also an option of using the CDN. So what does CDN means? CDN means not installing through your npm or something through terminal, but creating a web page and adding just a link as this tag, and that is enough. It will import everything of Vue3 there, and you can use the Vue3 there itself by building the raw CSS, right? So now you can even use that way. So we will see all those things in more detail from tomorrow. So let's finish it here and have a good day. We will learn together, we will build together, we will burn together. Thank you.